Hi there, it's Christian and Michael here again. We're in the Jalinga studio, and after the great response that we had to the video that we put out last year, we thought that we would work on a series of videos on the challenges of AV and video support and management. So as a quick introduction, just in case those of you who are watching don't know the two of us, my name is Christian Boziat. I'm an audiovisual consultant, smart buildings consultant, and I've been in the industry for around about 25 odd years, quite a long time. And my friend here, Michael, and let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Christian. Yeah, so good to see you again. Michael Parker, so I'm the International Business Development Director for a company called Utelligy.
So it's great to have Michael here again in the studio, and we've been talking over the last couple of months about some of the challenges of AV and video support and management. And we've highlighted between ourselves what we think are some of the key and core challenges to well-deployed audiovisual and video systems into organisations, irrespective of what type of organisation you are. And we believe that some of the things that we're going to go through here are the core items. So yeah, we've been discussing this, and please do comment and add things that you feel are important to this topic, because we're going to do these videos, and getting your feedback, we can add that into the videos. So Michael, what do you think are some of the core challenges to properly delivering AV and video, and then the support of that into an organisation? What do you see in your day-to-day work?
Yeah, sure. Well, there are many, and it depends on geography. It depends on customer market. You know, which way the wind is blowing. So why don't we write a few down? So yeah. I think one for us as a software business within the AV market, you know, this whole premise of remote management and control in a non-proprietary way for all of your devices is quite a new thing for the industry. So I would think, or I would say, number one on the list for me, and these aren't necessarily in particular order, but the first one that I would put on the list would be budget. Okay. Because it's a new thing for these organisations. They've not had it before, therefore they don't have the budget for it. So when we're talking to them, we're going through the sales process with these organisations. It's like, this is fantastic, we can see the benefits. Okay. We'd love to get it on board quickly, but we need to go through a process of creating a budget for it. Yeah. So I think that would be a key one to discuss. I
agree. I think that you're really right there, that actually, because AV and video is, I still think it's considered a new thing, even though we've had COVID and everybody's starting to use video. Actually, budgeting for AV and video is an interesting challenge to an organisation. They've got budgets for IT in place, but how do you understand how to get to that budget? I think that's something that we could talk about. How do we get through to that budget?
Okay. How about you?
I think aligned with that is understanding what you've actually got on your estate from an AV perspective, an AV and video perspective. You know, especially if you've got a disparate estate, actually it can be deployed by multiple systems integrators over multiple different times with, you know, different standards and different quality of hardware, different costs. You know, so not actually, and then it's not always kept in a place where it's easily accessible by everybody. So there's no sort of central repository for all of the data and information of what's actually there. And I think that can be a challenge, because if you don't know what's there, you're not necessarily going to know what needs to be supported, what's not working, what is working, and I think the challenge is from that, not understanding.
I agree. I'm smiling because that's a challenge that we see in almost every organisation we speak to, regardless of their size and stature.
Well, okay,
so it's a good one. Okay, let's bang that up.
So what's the next one then?
Existing estate. Let's write that down.
Okay.
Existing estate, understanding.
Existing estate. Okay.
Cool.
Next one. What do you reckon?
I would say the network piece.
Okay.
In the IT world, things sit on the network. In the AV world, not everything sits on the network.
We touched on this so if you haven't seen it, we touched on this in our previous video. So
we did. It is a challenge to be able to report and control something if you can't speak to it across the network.
Yeah.
And the reality is, yeah, as we touched on in the previous video, some devices like displays would be a good example.
Yeah.
There's been no reason to put them on the network in the past. Put them on the network is expensive. All the reasons that everyone knows why.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a crucial opportunity and a reason why to put them on the network.
Yeah.
So I would have that as a point.
Yeah, I think definitely
everything on the network.
Yeah, I think definitely I agree with you that on that point. Network, not on the network. Yeah, and screens is a classic example. Often it will even get value engineered out of a project. You might have specified it, but then somebody doesn't realise why it needs to be on the network, and so they go, oh, we don't want any network ports, and we need another load of switches if we're going to have that. So.
Opening walls.
Exactly.
Pain.
But that actually then does feed quite into the reason for that, and that's ownership.
Yeah.
I think ownership within organisations can be a little bit disparate. Who looks after AV?
The hot potato.
Yeah, right. It's yours, right? So you've often got a lot of different stakeholders. You might have somebody who looks after video platform, but they don't look after the meeting rooms. And you might have somebody that looks after the meeting rooms, but they don't look after the technology in the meeting rooms. And so actually understanding all of those stakeholders, who looks after the telephony, how does that work, transferring to Teams and whatever devices they're going to use. And that ownership drives a lot of those things, the budget, what's on the existing estate, because it's not actually understood maybe in an organisation what area they're supposed to be looking after.
Well, it's a basket of pain. Why would you want to look after it? I'll look after the things that are easy to look after, where I can control the outcome. AV.
Yeah, exactly.
That breaks all the time at the worst possible time.
Yeah, the CEO's doing a presentation, and oh no, it's all fallen down, it's collapsed. So
and there's no view of it either. There's no telemetry on it in most organisations. So, because someone comes in running, screaming and shouting, you need to get this fixed. But what is the problem? I don't know. I'm walking into a viper's den of people that are frustrated in the moment, and I've got to fix it.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the problem is.
No.
So I think that's a good one. Ownership is a really good one.
Yeah.
And I guess what would come from that, another one I'd like to put up there from that is the support process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you have got a team that's owning it, what is the process of them being able to support it? Currently, what we see, and obviously. Let's talk about the future as well.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you. Support process is just left as a break fix. So you'll see in a tender, and please just give a 4 or 8 hour service response time. Actually, I think that if you look at IT specifically these days, you've got a very defined process. There's organisations there that will, they have 24-hour help desks. They've got processes for taking your laptops in, remotely monitoring them, getting access to them, or then shipping you out a new one. All of those processes are actually defined before they're actually put out to the market to get somebody to come and support them. And we don't have that necessarily.
Well, it hasn't changed in our lifetime.
No.
I mean, you've been doing this a little bit longer than I, Christian. maybe 5 years. But ostensibly, it hasn't changed, has it?
No.
It's the same way of dealing with these challenges. And we can talk about that a bit more. I think that's definitely a good one.
Support process, and then obviously pulling all of those things together is something that I think that we're missing in the AV world from the IT world. And I don't think we should map close everything to what I'm going to say. I don't think that the same processes are needed, but the actual governance and process delivery, around the delivery, the design, the delivery, the definition, the support process doesn't exist in the same way in AV and video as it does in the IT world. And often now we've got software products, which like Utelogy, it's a software product. We've got hardware products. Some of those have their own software, and actually defining what you want a solution to do, how you want to support it, and then running it through a standard IT process with a project manager, with stakeholders, with stage gates, proper budget definition, understanding what you've got, how much it's going to cost, time frame, planning, getting those things done. I don't think necessarily is taken as seriously in AV and video. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree with that. I think the answer is, as always, it's not a broad brushstroke. It's not all, because I have worked on some customer projects, certainly when I worked for a global integrator in the past, where you've got a consultant involved, and the customer side does have a high level of governance.
Yep.
And there is a lot of process there. But to your point, it's very rare, and I would say we still don't see that. We see it fall on the integrator to drive that process, and effectively the integrators marking their own homework at that point. And I think there is definitely a need for the customer side, the customer delivery side, to be driving that, in partnership with the chosen contractor, the integrator, the consultants that are involved, and people like us, because we like to be involved directly in the relationship as well.
Well, you've got an invested interest in getting the product to make sure that it actually performs, because you want to make sure that the client gets the best from what you're actually delivering in there. Exactly. So I do think that is really important, and getting that organizational understanding and of what they've got to deliver and how they're going to go about delivering it, and it gives it more meaning within an organization, is highlighted more, people understand it a bit better, and it gives it more importance. And actually that's all of that thing, all we're trying to do here, I think, in these conversations and as we go through these, is actually bring the understanding that AV and video is really business critical. And it needs to have some of these areas focused on within organizations and within the systems integrators, and some of the services that might need to be provided maybe different than they are in the past, or they have been in the past. So I think that's great. I think it's a really good list. I'm sure that hopefully we will get some other comments from other people who see this video on things that they feel that are important to be addressed. But what we're going to do is we're going to go and address each of these in turn, maybe in pairs or whatever, to actually see how they might affect organizations and some of the things that maybe could be done to improve and get better outcomes from looking at how you go about delivering and thinking about each of these things. What do you think?
Hugely exciting. Who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to watch it back.
We're going to get millions of views.
I hope so. So we're going to also start a YouTube channel with these. So we'll put them up there so that you can see them, and hopefully we'll be able to discuss these topics in greater detail.
I think what we'll do is we'll also, there's a list of integrators and customers that we can bring in and sit here with us and talk through some of these points to get their perspective on it, because it's important to see this from all perspectives. Yeah, so actually that's a good thing. Let's reach out. Look, if you're watching this and you'd like to be involved, to come into the Gillinger studio and sit with one of us to talk about some of these things and get your thoughts across to the AV industry and the organizations that use AV, we'd be delighted to hear from you. So please do reach out. For the moment, brilliant. Thanks, Michael. We will see you shortly. Take care. Bye.